think your item build is probably fine. It's maybe a bit light on the regen. I prefer to go like a salve plus another tango and pull some tangos to my mid player. But this wand rush could work. It's actually best to skill Maledict level 1 in a vacuum, if you know what I mean. Like, the majority of the time Maledict just to harass is better. Cast can work if you're invading a rune and there's two people there and you just skill cast and it bounces back and forth. So, at this point you should be going to the side shop and finishing your magic wand. And you do that? Nice. Probably just... yeah. Nice job. At this point the lane is pushing pretty hard, so, and you've got level 2. So it is possible to kill them here. So, the way that you hit your Maledicts with a large percentage of success is just the way that you just did it. Throw your stun, set up your Maledict, and throw your Maledict afterwards. You've got a little bit longer range on the cast than the Maledict, so keep that in mind. And this guy's just dead? Nope? Okay. It's close. Once you get level 3, it's going to be really deadly. I personally don't really like mono boots right now. I prefer to have the tranquils like plus a windlace, just for the extra move speed. You can just sustain yourself by fairing yourself clarities, mono wise. Pull through pretty well. I mean, by pretty well, I mean successfully. Couldn't have done it better. Unfortunately, the axe messes it up for you. Not much you can do about that. I understand the idea of trying to get the Maledict first, but it's better to just cast, and it's a lot better to level up Maledict over stun because it scales in damage quite a bit. Like, it goes from 16 to 24. Makes a big difference in the amount of damage that it does, and the potential, like, 1 extra second of stun, which is unreliable, isn't worth it over just the sheer amount of damage that you can do. If you can land those Maledicts before casting, it is better to Maledict first, but sometimes you can't do it, so don't be too set in your ways. You can do it either way. Excellent. You're doing really well. If anything, yeah, I just think you're doing really well right now for a newer player. Yeah, see there, that's an example of when you want to stun and then maledict. So, something that you can do as a newer player is just buy Urn like every single game, because it's pretty unlikely that your team is going to buy it. Like nobody on your team is going to buy Urn, right? So just buy it yourself every game. The sustain that you can offer to your teammates is invaluable. If you're inclined to be a Witch Doctor player, the upgraded version of Urn, the Spirit Vessel, or just the regular Urn, the offensive, I mean, works really well with your Maledict to amplify the damage from the Urn. Make sure you're always carrying a TP on yourself. You don't, there was like a rule of thumb, and it still applies. You can apply it to your games. Just whenever you're near a side shop, make sure you have like 2 TPs on you, so if you forget to buy a TP later on to replace the one that you use, you'll just have another one. Try not to, yeah, see, you don't have a TP on you now, but try not to use your TP frivolously like that, because it's an 80-second cooldown. I mean, that's the same cooldown as your ultimate, you know? You wouldn't just waste your Death Ward for no reason, right? So think about your TP as just another one of your abilities that you don't want to use unless it's needed. Alright then. Yeah, you should probably buy 2 TPs. That'll help you with having one in your inventory. Try not to stand around for no reason, just like off in your own jungle and such. Try to always be standing next to some creeps that are dying, or standing behind your own teammate. As a support, generally you don't want to be by yourself because you can just get picked off like this. You want somebody else to be showing in that lane, and then if they get gone on, you can counter initiate. For instance, if this was the Clinks in the lane, and the Meepo goes on him, you just press Cask, you press Maledict, you press Death Ward, and Meepo dies. But since he goes on you, you just get bursted down. By all means though, if your teammates aren't taking farm on the map, take it yourself. Just be wary of getting initiated on and bursted down. And try not to go back to base just to get your item like that. Try to, I don't know, practice using the courier. I mean, for newer players it works fine just pressing this courier deliver items button down here. Try to pay attention to what happens on the map. Like for instance, if you see that troll has a shadow blade, try to immediately have some sentries, which you do have, and have a dust. So he can't escape with the shadow blade, and he can't initiate with the shadow blade. And the way that you prevent people from initiating with shadow blade is you use the sentry. Like if your team is grouped up like this, just put the sentry down like just outside of tower vision, like right here. That way the troll can't initiate on somebody, and you can push the tower pretty freely. A little bit ambitious with your Death Ward, but that's okay. Death Ward is one of those skills where it's either going to be like absolutely useless and you only do like a few hundred damage at most, or you know, there's just some games where you have the Death Ward talent, like 125 attack range and 75 Death Ward range, like if they don't have a lot of disable. And you can get an Ags as well. I mean, I'm not saying do this every game, but there's some games where you can just kill the entire enemy team with your Death Ward. So this death was just an example of where you need to look how many teammates you have and look at where you are on the map, and if you don't have a good amount of teammates and they're not like in front of you, you always want to have your teammates in front of you. Don't let your teammates advance, you know, allow your teammates to be a barrier between you and the enemy team. Even if it's something like a sniper. So at a point like this, where you have all the outer tier, all the outer towers, and you're attempting to break base, a great thing you can do is take Roshan. And the way that you do that in this particular game is Clink's auto attacks it, Underlord tanks, and Underlord presses Q on Rosh. Keep in mind, if you have an Underlord on your team, this Q has a max HP burn damage, which is 4% at level 7, or at level 4. Works on Roshan. So he's an extremely good Rosh taker. You can tank it. But you guys are just killing him, so I guess Rosh doesn't exactly need it. So just try to find out like what your conditions are for taking Roshan. In some games, and you do good here, which is nice. Like in some games, you just wanna, as a 5-position support, build a medallion for your team to take Rosh faster. Or if they have a lot of physical damage, medallion is a nice item build-up wise to just become less susceptible to the physical damage. Overall, I think you did well. I think if you just play the game more and focus a bit more, you'll be able to get to a decent MMR pretty quick. Like you actually, for 40 matches, you said you played a lot of bot games, but for 40 matches, you played pretty damn well for 40 matches, I'd say.